everybody! This week's video will be a little bit different and it will be discussing self-harm. So if you have any triggers relating to self-harm or disordered eating, consider yourself warned. There will not be any graphic imagery, but I will be discussing self-harm, my particular brand of self-harm, and I will be taking you on a journey with me as I go 30 days without self-harm. I have been self-harming since 2012 and I don't think I've gone more than a week without it. I do think at this point I am reliant on it as a comfort rather than as a coping skill. There are certain aspects of self-harm that I find soothing and it's not okay. So for the next 30 days, I will be attempting to not self-harm and I'm going to take you along with me. Before we begin, I'd like to define self-harm. What I'm defining as self-harm for the purposes of this video and for me is purposefully harming myself physically, purposefully triggering myself, and any other self-destructive behaviors that I knowingly commit, which include weighing my food, restricting my food, and otherwise purposefully causing myself distress, if that makes sense. So my particular brand of self-harm is cutting. I normally cut in a specific spot and I won't tell you what I cut with. I will say that I have put all of my self-destructive weapons away, including the scale that I use to weigh my food and the scale that I use to weigh my body every day, because restricting food is another form of purposeful self-harm. Also, eating foods that I know I'm not supposed to eat. So eggs make me feel horrendous and dairy hurts me, and yet I will purposefully eat those things in order to hurt myself or punish myself for something. So I will not be doing any of that for 30 days. And I will be taking you along with me. The month that I will be filming the 30 days will be my birthday month. I chose this month because the two most difficult times that I have in the year, the times that I find it the hardest to refrain from self-harm, is December, January time around the New Year's. That time really bothers me, but I was doing something with George and I didn't want to bring this along with me. So instead I decided to do it in April. So seeing this, I've already done it. You're seeing this in May, so it's already been done. I did it in April. I did it in April specifically because of my birthday, because around my birthday, I find it particularly difficult to love myself. So for 30 days in April, I went without self-harm, and here's my journey. There's a shadow on my face. I have felt not great for the past few days, but it's April 1st, which means it's time for me to start the 30 days without self-harm. So, I took a shower because neglecting hygiene is like one of the top things on there. I'm also forcing myself to go to class because self-enforced social isolation, another thing that I do quite frequently. I think it's also part of the reason why I don't have very many friends. I ate breakfast, I had tea, I'm gonna go to class, and I'm gonna eat lunch, and I'm gonna do my homework and not put things off. I'm probably gonna clean my room at some point. I need to wash my sheets. That's like number one thing that I want to do. So it's April 6th. I don't know. It's been a hard day. I woke up and I was thinking about self-harm, and then I went to school and my door isn't locked. And I was thinking about it. Then there was a moment when we were doing other things and I stopped thinking about it and I just went out to get water. And I wanted to, for whatever reason. Like I did something that embarrassed me earlier today and I thought about it when I went to go get water and my first thought was, oh, here's the solution. It's only 6 days in and I'm already struggling. I chose this month on purpose. I chose April on purpose because I normally have a really hard time in April for a lot of different reasons. I just didn't realize it was gonna be this hard. Like as I'm talking, I'm actively like visualizing and the way it would feel, and it's really hard to stop. So I can't believe I signed up to do this for a month. It'll be good for me. Hopefully by the end of the month I'll be like, oh, we're totally chill. It's totally fine. Right now, I'm immensely uncomfortable. I'm so very, very, very uncomfortable with this. I'm trying really hard to like not. It's honestly, I've been thinking about it all day, which I don't know what that says about me or about my like reliance on this as a coping method. Oh, that's my bone. You can hide that. I thought it would be hard. I didn't think it would be this hard. I didn't realize I'd become this dependent on it. Although I'm not sure if well, I guess I am, but I don't know if it's because I'm dependent on this as a coping mechanism or if it's April. You know? I don't know. I also don't know what to do about it. Like, I have no clue what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm trying to distract myself as much as possible, and it's not really working, and I'm not entirely sure what else to do. So I had to stop reading something because it was honestly a little bit triggering. So we're now watching non-triggering things, and I'm reading A Clockwork Orange, which isn't exactly comforting, but at least it's not triggering in the same sense, because I don't know, I think I get more triggered by the narrator of the story, whoever the main character is, being depressed than I get about like other things happening. It's the description of depression or of like suicidal ideation that gets to me. It like makes my heart hurt a little bit, and then I take that in, and the heart-hurting feeling, it feels kind of the same way as like your stomach feels on a roller coaster when you go up and down really fast, and I actually really love that feeling in roller coasters, and I think I take that sort of hurt feeling and I want to experience it more, but I don't, but I do anyway. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, I had to change what I was reading to A Clockwork Orange. So now I'm reading A Clockwork Orange, and hopefully, well, I mean, April's not even close to being done yet. What is it? We're not even 1/3 of the way. We're 2/10. We're 1/5 of the way. We're 1/5 of the way done. It's 20%. We're almost there. Look at me doing math. I feel like crying. I'm probably gonna have a cry and then go to sleep. Crying doesn't count, right? It's April 7th, and I took a shower. I'm now the person who takes a shower after... Why does my hair look so good? I'm now a person who takes a shower at night instead of in the morning because it's so icky sweaty in Tucson right now. It's only April. So I took a shower. I'm struggling. Yesterday, I thought yesterday was hard. Today was worse. I could not tell you why. But, you know, I'm clean. At least. I haven't weighed my food. I've only weighed myself once this week. We're doing okay, I guess. Doesn't feel like it's okay, but it's okay. I'm going up to see my family over the weekend for my birthday. I think that'll help. I think it'll be a distraction, and it'll also be some support. Hopefully once I get past my birthday, things will get easier, but I don't want to say I doubt it, but I also don't know, right? Gotta keep that in mind. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, so I hope things will get better, and they might get better, and that's all I know. I'm trying not to like project. I'm gonna lie down. Tomorrow I have to get my oil changed. So I have to wake up early for that. Well, not really early. I wake up at 5 anyway, and the thing doesn't open until 8. I'll probably leave around 7:30. It shouldn't take very long to get there. And if I get there early, I can always just like hang out and read a book. But I want to be there when they open so that I'll be able to get it done before going to class. But class doesn't start until 1. There's no way it'll take from 8 to noon in order to get my oil changed. Fingers crossed. I don't know how to get there, and I don't know how to get back. So that's probably number one concern right now. Actually, number one concern is going to sleep. It's April 13th, and I'm having a rough day. Last night, I was crying for no reason, like sobbing, fully like hugging myself, rocking back and forth, trying to do everything I could to distract myself from wanting to cut. Very difficult. I think I cried myself to sleep. I don't remember going to sleep, but I do remember waking up. So like at some point I lost consciousness. And today wasn't that great. I didn't go to class. I probably should have, but one of my classmates got COVID, and so I'm staying at home for a little bit. My tests have come back negative, but I'm staying home for a little bit because I want to make sure that it's not like a false negative, that I might have COVID and it's not contagious, or it's contagious yet, but it's not showing up on the test. Like, I'm not entirely sure. So I learned about that on Monday. I came back. It's now, what is this, Wednesday? So I think if the test that I took today comes back negative, I will go to class tomorrow. I don't know what best practice is anymore for COVID. Things are constantly changing, but nobody else in the class has got it. It's just the one kid. We're all masked, and I say kid. This person's an adult. It's just the one person who has it. Everybody else is masked. I was masked. I'm not showing any symptoms, and I took a test on Monday and Tuesday. So far 2 out of the 3 tests that I've taken are negative, so hopefully we're okay. Anyway, I was crying, and I'm having a rough day today. I knew that April would be difficult. I'm fidgeting with a Nerds box. I knew that April would be difficult. That's kind of why I decided to choose this month to do this challenge.
I didn't realize it would be this difficult. I do feel like crying still. I checked, it's not my period. I'm just sad. You know, sometimes when you feel like maybe this is just me. My strongest suicidal ideation pops up a few days before my period and then ends a few days after my period ends. Don't know what that is, but I was feeling kind of like that the other night. Like I legitimately considered, like, generally when I first start thinking about suicide, it generally starts out with like the single thought, I want to die, right? And then it progresses from there to like, how would I do it? And then I would think about different ways of doing it. Now, if it gets to the point where I'm planning, that's when I generally seek help. I did not get to that point. I just got to the thinking about how to do it point. And then I checked and it's not because of my period. So it's something else. Maybe it's just me being sad. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's April. April's really tough for me. We shall see. Anyway, I'm gonna eat nerds and watch YouTube, which is what I've been doing all day. Actually, that's a lie. I finished my statement of intent today. Or statement of purpose. And I took a picture of my passport for the application for study abroad. Like I've sent it in. I don't know if it's good, but I've sent it in. And so now I'm just gonna wait back to hear from SNU and hopefully I get to go. And if not, hopefully I get to go to Korea with another university. We'll see. I was supposed to do 2 other things today. Disorders of Childhood lectures and Alex. Oh, I also need to read. I'm currently reading The Sun Also Rises. If you want to read something from the 1920s or set in the 1920s, I recommend Great Gatsby over this. Like, this is great or whatever, but I'm bored and I'm not entirely sure where the plot is. So there's that. Okay, well, I'm gonna go. Thanks for chatting. I'm sure I'll see you again some other time in this month. We're not even halfway through, so there's gonna be more sadness and trying to not look. I said I wouldn't show anything graphic you can't really see, but I'm clean. It's been 13 days. It's all, the last scab fell off. I'm kind of sad that they're gone, but yeah, look at me. It's something to be proud of, but it's kind of sad that was something to be proud of in the first place. But like, whatever, I don't like looking at it. I want there to be something. Could I draw on myself? I want there to be something there because it feels empty. Maybe I'll draw on myself. You know what? I have some Sharpies. Maybe that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do with my time. Do I do a red Sharpie or do I do like a metallic Sharpie? My options are red, green, blue, bronze, silver, or gold. What should I do? I think I should stick away from the red. Maybe I'll draw some flowers. And that can be green and silver. I'll do green and silver. That'll work, right? Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do that instead of this is so cliche. This is so like Tumblr 2012 what to do instead of self-harm. Like, but honestly, that's where I am right now. I need to know what else to do. I don't like looking at that being blank. So I'm gonna watch YouTube and eat nerds. Oh my god, I love nerds. And draw.
It is the 20th of April and the marker washed off and I'm getting that urge to do it again, so I think I'm gonna draw on my arm again because it seemed to work last time. The whole time that there was like the drawing on my arm, I didn't feel like I needed to do anything. It's a mess. And now that it's all washed off, I'm wanting to again, so I think that might be part of it. We'll see. I'm gonna give it a few days. It's not as strong of an urge anymore as it was at the beginning of the month, so I'm feeling better about that. I'm gonna give it a few days. Maybe I can get used to not seeing anything on my arm. I don't know, it's upsetting. I am upset. I'm working on, I don't think you can kind of see it. I'm working on the blanket that I'm going to put in my car. So hopefully once that's done, I won't have to like take my pastel blanket everywhere. I could take the car blanket because it'll be in my car and it'll be a square, so it'll be slightly smaller than the other blanket. We'll see, because I need so many heavy blankets in Tucson. So it's the 26th of April and I feel awful. Honestly, yesterday I was contemplating not putting this video up and instead of putting something different up because I didn't think I was going to be able to make it. Then this morning I realized why I was so
why it was so difficult for me yesterday. Because honestly, until yesterday, since the last time I filmed, which I think was on the 17th, maybe, I've felt fine. And then yesterday it just like came out of nowhere. But I found out this morning why that is, and my period started. It's always worse around my period. I could not tell you why. So this week's gonna be tough. Not only am I on my period and I'm having a hard time, but it's also finals week. So that's gonna be fun. But I haven't been able to contact my parents for a few weeks now. Like normally I talk to them every week on the phone calls. I've been texting them and I've been emailing them, but I haven't been like speaking to them. And that's been difficult for me. Like I'd like to be able to speak with them, but differences of schedule, they're busy right now. So that support is kind of gone. I haven't told any of my friends here about my struggles, I guess. I feel like we're not close enough for that. Also, they're quite a bit younger than me and I don't feel like burdening them with that. I know what I felt at like 19, 20, and it was not great. It was really not okay. And I'm sure they're also going through their own thing, so I just don't want to burden them with that. My family though, they signed up for this. And then I also haven't told George because she's going through her own things right now. So I'm kind of on my own right now. I need to do it by myself because that's the option that's presented to me. So I'm gonna have some Girl Scout cookies because there's Thin Mints back there that I've been eyeing. And I'm gonna watch like a K-drama or something. Like I'm gonna do something else to distract myself. The painting of the nails worked. It did distract me. So I'm gonna find something else to distract me. Distraction seems to be my best bet. It's been the most effective method so far. This is terrible lighting, but we're going with it anyway. It's the 30th of April, which means I'm done. This I'll probably do afterthoughts some other time, not right now, but my period is over. I feel okay, not great, not awful. It's finals week, so I think that's part of it. I'm gonna go out with friends tomorrow. I say go out with friends, I'm gonna go to study tomorrow at a library, but for me, that's going out, or as close to going out as it's gonna be. I'm feeling fine. I actually haven't thought about doing anything since the last time I filmed. I don't remember when that was, but I've also been so distracted with everything else that I haven't really had time to think about anything. So I do think distraction has been the best thing that I could have done this entire time. What with drawing or painting my nails or watching K-dramas, whatever it was, the distraction helped the most. So that's something that I'll keep in mind moving forward, but I also don't want to just go cold turkey because that was really difficult. That was difficult for me. I know it's not healthy to say that, but some of the things, because I cut out everything. I cut out self-harm, like physical self-harm, which to be fair, was the hardest part. It was the part that I thought about the most, but I also cut out weighing myself every day, and that gave me more anxiety than I thought it would. I figure weighing myself maybe once a week would be fine. I also gave up weighing my food, and that gave me more anxiety than I thought it would. There still are certain foods that I would like to weigh. Less to do with, it's still portion control, but it's less to do with eating less and more to do with I don't know how much to eat. And so I know a specific weight that I can put in a bowl and finish and feel full. And I'd like to keep that. I don't know if it's healthy or not, but I'd like to keep that. Baby steps. This was one massive step. And now we're doing baby steps because I don't think I can continue on with this. This was very, very difficult. Way more difficult than I thought it would be. Also easier than I thought it would be in different ways. Yep, that's it. That's all I have. It's done. It's over. The sun is setting. That's why I wear this, so that I can do work and not have it in my face. For filming though, it's in my eyes, almost directly. This was an interesting experiment and not one that I want to repeat again. Like, if I do repeat it again, I'm not filming it. This was really hard. I was planning on filming more. No, we're not going to film me crying on the ground. That's not happening.
I'm done. I'm back home and I'm done with the challenge. It was a long time. It was both harder and easier than I thought. It was harder in the sense that I didn't realize exactly how much I depended on it. Like, I knew that I depended on it, on self-harm, but I didn't realize the extent to which I was depending on it. And then I didn't realize how little actual other coping skills I had. I think the only one that I had that actually worked and worked consistently was distraction. So I have to keep that in mind. I also thought that the food restriction restrictions would be harder to give up than the actual like cutting, but I actually thought about the cutting more than I thought about the food restrictions, and I didn't self-trigger as often as I thought I would, because generally when I'm feeling not great, I will go out of my way to find content that will make me feel even worse. Just, I don't know, to have an excuse. I don't know why I do it, I just know that I do it. So I thought that I did it more often than I actually do. I didn't really do it at all over this past month. But yeah, the restricting from cutting was really difficult for me. I also moved, and because I came back home and I left half of my stuff in Arizona, I've come to the conclusion, because I can't find them anywhere, but my tools, my self-harm tools, I left them in Arizona. So what started out as a 30-day challenge has turned into my reality. I'm not gonna go out and buy new things. I'm just gonna see how long I can go without doing anything, but I did sort of get myself with that one. I mean, I'm glad I know this now, and I know how to move forward, and I know that I could potentially go longer. Like, it's not life or death. It's uncomfortable, but I can get through it. So that's nice to know. I do think I want to cut out cutting entirely, but I think I mentioned this before, but the eating restrictions, there's something to be said about portion control, I guess. When I wasn't weighing my food, I would serve myself too much, and then I would be full, and then I would be wasting that food. So as long as I can find a balance between eating enough and not being wasteful, I think that if weighing my food helps with that, for whatever reason, until I can see with my eyes how much to put on my plate, I think that could be helpful for me, but I would have to use it in a particular way. The way I was using it before is I knew the exact amount of weight that would give me the right calorie deficit, and I would eat and then not feel full and be like, oh, that's fine. But now I'm eating until I feel full, but I don't know what that looks like physically, you know? So I think working on that until I know what looks right on the plate would be helpful for me. I'm done. I did it. I highly recommend that if you struggle with any kind of self-harm habits or unhealthy habits, to sort of challenge yourself to break those habits over the course of 30 days. It's eye-opening if you can't make it. Like, even if you're trying to break a habit and you slip up one day, that doesn't mean all of your other efforts were wasted. It just means that you made a mistake and you can move on from it. So I do think attempting something like this, if you have those kinds of, what are they called? Maladaptive coping skills, would be helpful. I would recommend it. I do think that mental health is important, and looking at this sort of form of mental health is important. It's not just going to therapy. It's also about developing healthy coping skills and breaking the unhealthy coping habits that you may have developed along your path of mental health awareness. So overall, I'm glad I did this. I don't think I will do this again, and if I do this again, I will not be filming it. But it was an eye-opener. So there's that. And I'll see you guys next time for something not mental health related at all. Bye!